All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here today. It's been a couple months since we have held one of these live sessions. We are actually live right now, coming from the Trade Pending TV studio and from the Sean Payne Goat for Real 216 studio. We're going to talk about social media today for dealerships. Sean, I'll give you a moment here in just a second. Let me get through this.
Sure. Take your time.
I run the marketing at Trade Pending. We have been working with Sean on social media content, and we'll let Sean give you his background and his history with Trade Pending as well too. But there we are. Of course, we are recording this, and we will share it out afterwards. If you have questions as we go, I've got plenty printed out. But if you have questions, fire them into that Q&A thing, and we will get to them, and we'll have Sean answer them. If we don't get to them in the session here, we'll email you afterwards. So there we are. That's Trade Pending. That's what we do. If you haven't seen us on Trade Pending TV, any of our Man on the Street interviews, there's some absolute bangers out there right now. We were in downtown Nashville, and just the footage we got from interviewing people on the street, Sean,
I
was
love it.
it was amazing. All
I
right.
love it.
So I think that's it. That's it for now. Let's hop out of here. Let me stop my screen share. Sean, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Tell
Thank
us who
you.
you are, what you do, how you ended up here.
Yeah, so my name's Sean Payne. I am born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. I like to say 25-year car veteran, but I'm sure it's closer to 30 at this point. But done everything all the way from sales to I was a dealer principal. I was a minority partner in a franchise store here in Cleveland that we sold in 2023. We exited. Been a general manager, general sales manager, pre-owned director at a Lexus facility here for a couple years. And so basically done every job in the dealership. And, like I said, got all the way to the point of owning a facility and just absolutely have fallen in love with social media, organic social media over the past 5 years. And so my career has leaned into that vertical a little bit heavier here. And I'm happy to be here. I love working with Pending. You guys are amazing. I think it's an awesome tool. And I'm here for it. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I'm on socials. It's Goat for Real 216. So if you don't know me by Sean, you might know me by that.
And please tell us quickly, how did the handle come about?
So I'll give you the cliff notes, but so I give you the back end first. 216 is a area code here in Cleveland. So that's what it is. So we're in the 216. You know what I mean? That's as the kids say. So here in Cleveland, and the goat thing is obviously like most really talented car guys. We tend to think that we are the best ever, and yeah, it is what it is. And the people in this chat get it. You know what I mean? If you're a car guy sitting at a desk right now or at a finance desk, you absolutely think that you're the best in the industry, and you might be. I think fairly highly of my abilities in a store. The interesting part about the username Go for Real 216 is the for real part is really kind of who I am as a person. I am all about transparency and being honest and being for real about things. I don't have a lot of tolerance, especially as I'm getting a little grayer, a little older. I don't have a whole lot of tolerance for anything that's not genuine and not transparent and real. So the for real part is probably the most important part of the username because that's my way of letting you know, like, I'm going to hit you real, whether you like it or not. I feel like I have an obligation to the young people coming up below me and to my peers as well that to be real and honest and transparent and tell the truth. And even if it hurts a feeling here and there, I think that's the most effective way for everybody to grow. So,
Awesome. Well, let's get real.
yeah.
So, we're
So,
talking about social media here. And so, I think we got to start first with some foundational items. If we're talking
yeah.
about social media, there's some things you just have to like lock down. Can you talk about like how you figure out what your goal is going to be, which platforms you need to think about, which tools you should use, and like how you even
Yeah.
get things set up correctly? And if you don't remember all that, I'll steer you back there, here and there.
Yeah, no, no. Well, this is what I do, so no, I better know it by now. Um, so yeah, I mean, no different than when we were trained in the car business, and the car guys on this call will get this and understand. No different than when we first came into the car business and we got trained on, the 10-step process and the walk around process and maybe some closing techniques and meet and greets and stuff like that. The cool thing about social media is that all of the stuff that we learned in sales training, you can actually transition it over into social media It's very similar how you have to have the foundational techniques down correctly in order to give yourself the best chance of success. Now, does that mean that if I tell you this stuff that you're guaranteed to go viral? Absolutely not. I can't control an algorithm. But what I can do is I can teach you how to do things correctly, no different than your boss or principal taught you when you first got in the business about a correct walk around, a correct meet and greet and all that. So the foundational stuff is important, and I always equate it to the sales training that we got when we first got in. You have to decide on a few things, right? You have to decide what's your goal, like you mentioned. Is your goal to be an influencer? There's a way to get there. A much easier path than I think people think. So if you want to monetize your personal brand, I know how to do that, but you have to decide before you hit record what's your goal as a creator. Is it to build a brand image to sell more cars? Amazing. I love that too. Is it to become an influencer and a creator? Is it to brand your store, not a personal account? Is it to drive more traffic? Is it, to sort of, I guess what you would say is sort of just make an addition to your current sales process and lead generation. Hey, I need another couple deals a month and I would be happy as a dealer or as a
Right,
salesperson.
right.
Then so it's really what's your goal before you hit record that first time. I think that it's essential that you know why you're recording. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
And
does the channel which you publish your content to, is that
Mhm.
influenced by your goals?
Yeah, for sure. If you're looking to, let's say your goal is to monetize, I want to post a video today that could equal a car sale tonight or next week. Then, yeah, that's something that you're going to take into consideration. You probably want to lean towards Facebook Reels. Are you looking to monetize some sort of a product or something like that, or put a special out or a special trade offer or something like that, something that your store's doing? That's more of a, I guess, advertisement sort of generation. That would be Instagram. If you're looking to build a following, build a community, build a base, and be monetized as an influencer, and become an authoritative figure in our space, that's probably TikTok and YouTube.
Got it. So I'm going to kind of state that back here and
Yeah.
riffing off the notes we had before. So you called Instagram a digital showroom, Facebook
Hmm.
is the local community, TikTok
Yeah,
is the growth channel.
for sure.
Is that how we should be thinking about it?
Yeah, I mean the growth channel they call, TikTok has in the influencer space, we kind of talk about it as the king of virality. I mean, that's where you can literally, man, make a video and go viral. I had a young man up at a Ford store that we trained a couple weeks ago. First video that he makes, literally, I made the video with him, held the camera and put it in the right place for him. First video that this young man makes is at 4.7 million views right now.
Okay, what
Uh,
was it about?
It was a video of, okay, so it was a video. The first part was a little bit of a chop and edit of a technician laying underneath a car and an axle falling on his head. And
Ouch.
not just a car, it was a heavy duty truck. So it
Okay.
was, it wasn't light. And so the video was of an axle falling on this technician's head. And it was a video that I think was clipped from YouTube or something like that. And so he stitched that. And the next part of the video, so that was like the first 5 seconds of the video. And then the next shot was of him leaning under a car, like he's talking to the technician. And I had the camera angled up like he was,
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
to the tech. And he says, hey, bud, this has got to be ready by 4 o'clock. It's got to get into details. So can you wrap this up real quick? Thanks, pal. And he just walks away. So meanwhile, you've got this technician laying with an axle on his face.
Right.
And of course, the salesperson is only worried about one thing: is this car going to get ready for delivery?
I love it. And so you can see like the content that's coming through there and it's on TikTok, right? That's
Yeah.
probably not going to help him sell a car immediately, but been an amazing brand awareness channel for this person now. Is that how you're thinking about it?
Yeah, I mean, I tend to look at it through a little bit of a different lens because,
Okay.
there's things that you can do even when you're making that growth or virality type video that are going to indicate where you're at, by using location or something of that nature. So, um, there are even those videos, those funny videos, those skit videos, they can still equal a car sale because, Matt, what you're really doing is you're letting people see that you're a human and that you have a sense of humor, right? And where you work and what kind of cars you sell. So there's still that opportunity to generate lead generation, but Instagram, like I said, is more digital showroom. Those two platforms probably give you a better chance of selling a car tonight from a video that you made today. If
Okay.
I, you know,
Got it. So coming back to, so we're still talking about foundational items here. Something you really like to preach is making sure the account is just set up correctly. What does that mean? And talk us
right.
through it.
Right. So you're looking at, we were trained in the old days, that your real estate is your lot, right? It's the signage on your lot, it's the windows. Did you paint anything on the windows? Are there banners? Are there flags? And that's sort of your real estate, your presentation to the public, the drive-by public. Well, obviously, we transitioned it into a different age today. The drive-by traffic now drives by like this, right? Or like this.
Hmm.
So you still have that real estate. It's just this little device in your hand and the screen that the people are going to be watching. So you have to take that real estate just as serious as a small business owner does. He tries to monetize every square foot of his storefront, let's say, or like we used to do in a dealership. Same thing on your device, and it starts with not only your content, but it starts with your profile and making sure that it's set up correctly. Does it give people insight into who you are? We all know you sell cars. Okay. So we don't need you to put on there, DM me for your best deal. We don't need you to put on there. We all know what you do. You sell cars, right? So, but it's your opportunity to give people some insight into who you are as a person by using things like emojis or girl dad or veteran or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Something,
Yeah.
a little piece of you to give to them. So if they happen to resonate with your content, that they go to your profile, they go, oh, wow, and he's a veteran and it looks like he lives in, Los Angeles or whatever. So setting that profile up visually is important, but there's also a back end that needs to be set up correctly as well. Are you setting up a business account? Is it a personal account? Are you letting it share automatically from Instagram to Facebook? Are you, allowing people to make comments or just your friends? So there's some things that can suppress your video performance if they're not set up correctly. The platforms will suppress you if you're not set up correctly.
Yeah, and let's actually talk about video suppression here real quick. So,
Yeah.
you talk about the 200 view jail. What is
Mhm.
that? How do you get in it? How do you get out of it?
It's torture, right? So it's not really a big mystery. It is to a lot of people, but it's really not. So it's the way the algorithm performs. So the algorithm that, is such a mystery that, they won't sell. You know what I mean? Because of its value. And it is an amazing algorithm. It does things that no other platform does. I'm talking about TikTok, but the 200 view jail. So the way the algorithm works is this: if Matt makes a video, TikTok sends it out to 200 people. Okay. Now, judge and based on that engagement. Engagement is everything in social media growth and sales and monetization. Based on the engagement, which is likes, shares, follows, comments. Okay. Based on that engagement, TikTok decides, wow, Matt's video is resonating. People kind of like it. Let me send it to 2,000 people. Now, if your engagement statistics stay consistent or get better, TikTok says, I think people like this. Let's send it to 20,000 people. Engagement stays the same or raises. Let's send it to 100,000 people. And that's how you go viral. That's the steps to going viral. So engagement is the most important thing. How you stay in the 200 view jail is by not creating content that resonates enough with people that they engage, right? And TikTok says, nobody likes this. We're not sending it to anybody else. So the first 200 people see it. And that's it. And that's as simple as that. That's why people get stuck.
Well, talk to us about consistency and messaging as well, too, especially if you've set up a personal account. How do you, what impacts that deliverability in terms of the content that you post? Should you be posting everything about your life, just about cars, some mix, some blend?
Yeah, so there's been so many algorithm changes lately, but these platforms want you to niche down. That's what they want you to do. They want you to niche down. So another reason that people's video gets stuck is literally because of that, because you'll see somebody who will post a video that, they're selling a car or something of that nature. And then they go home and they post a video of their child eating or, acting up or something that they think
Right.
is funny,
There's
right?
nothing wrong with that, but
Nothing wrong with it. I love those videos, right? But here's the reality. you got followers off that first video because of that content, correct? So you made content that resonated with somebody that was interested in the car business or what you do. And so maybe you get some likes and shares and follows from that. And then the next video that comes out from you has nothing to do with the previous video. So now the followers that you just gained from that first video, they don't engage. Again, it's everything because it doesn't resonate with them. So now the algorithm becomes confused. Matt, I don't know who to show your content to, is basically what it's saying to you. So that's why you see people get frustrated and quit, because, oh, I don't get any views. Well, yesterday you posted a food review video, and then today you posted a get ready with me video,
Right,
before you went
right.
to work. TikTok doesn't know who to show your content to. And the FYP is so valuable. And the algorithm, the reason it's
Excuse
so
me,
valuable.
the FYP
Yeah, the For You page,
for you
your,
page.
your
Thank
your
you.
home page, your home screen. You know what I'm saying? The one that, when you get on and you scroll, when you hop into bed and you start scrolling, that's your page. But if you aren't consistent with your content, the algorithm literally gets confused. So that's another reason why people get stuck, because that initial following that you build doesn't engage with the other content. They like the first content. So if you stay consistent in there, those people that first followed you and engaged may re-engage, right? And that's how it works. It's really not it's not this real. I mean, I guess it is if you don't know. So, but it's really not rocket science. It's
Right.
really not. There is a serious strategy.
Thank you for clarifying the acronyms there. I feel like everyone's familiar with OPP, but not everyone would be familiar with FYP.
You know me. Yeah,
Right.
you
There
know
we go.
me.
So
Yeah.
while we're going through this, if you have questions for Sean, hit him up in that Q&A. We will take them as we go here. So we've
Yeah.
talked about foundational stuff here. Figure out your goal, understand the platforms. Is your account set up correctly? I think one of the last little nuggets here is like, should I be logging into each channel and posting things individually? Should I be using a tool to do that? How do you approach it? How do you coach people on it?
Yeah, so a lot of it is curated to the specific creator, right? So in a perfect world, you would make a video and you would use TikTok's video platform to make the video. Here, a little pro tip. The algorithm or the platforms love when you make videos inside their platform. They do not like when you go outside of the platform to create the content and then bring that curated content back into their platform. They want you to use the tools that they have in their platform, right? So anytime TikTok or Instagram comes out with a new tool, like Edits is brand new by Instagram, that just came out right a couple weeks ago, an editing tool similar to CapCut, but but their version of it. Anytime they come out with a new tool, you should use it. They are going to push your content if you're using their tools. As far as shooting the video, in a perfect world, on average, you would shoot the video in TikTok, literally. You would post it, it downloads to your camera roll. Then you would take that video over to Instagram without watermarks, because it should download without watermarks, right? And then you would do everything in their Instagram as far as like captioning, hashtagging. You really should specialize the content to the platform. Um, Even like captions and stuff like that, they recognize, oh, that caption was built in another platform. They don't want you to promote the other platform at all by even
Greedy
using their editing.
bastards. The
Yeah, no,
greedy.
they're jealous people. They're
Yeah.
jealous people. Yeah.
All right. So should dealership employees think about crafting a message? Like, hey, I'm ready to start posting. What type of content should I be posting?
So I am kind of known as the first one to do behind the scenes content. Literally, when I owned my store here in Cleveland, I put my phone down, I hit record, and I went to work. Desking deals, training salespeople, calling lenders, just went to work. And I went home and I edited out the stuff that wasn't appropriate or customer information, maybe that got mentioned. And I started posting it. And that's how I started going viral. Um, I'm a big fan of behind the scenes content because I think the public has a serious craving to consume what really happens in a dealership. They love it. They absolutely love it. Like, if you think about it, I equate what we do today to, you remember a show called The Real World?
I do. Yes,
Okay, I hear
MTV.
it.
You
Yeah,
gotta
so
like stop doing something and start getting real or something like that.
well, The
Yeah.
Real World was the first true reality show, right,
Yeah.
on MTV. And you remember how hot that was, right? So we know that the public wants to watch reality TV. They want to watch what's really going on. You put six strangers in a house and just hit a camera, and millions of people tune in. It's crazy, right? So it's the same thing on your device. Again, take the TV screen, put it in your hand. It's the same thing. They would like to see real content and raw content. That's my favorite. However, I know a lot of people who are amazingly creative at creating skits, and funny content, outlining things that happen throughout the day at a dealership. So I'm a big fan of behind the scenes. I would like everybody to start there. However, your store might have some limitations that it will let you get away with, and stuff like that. So um, skits, and then there's always what I call talking head content, which is straight educational, informative. My name's Sean. I'm here to teach you about my industry. Um, Auto Trader just made a partnership with AutoCheck, and I'm delivering this news to the public because I am your automotive industry expert and informant. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
there's different kinds. Again, if it was up to me, I would just hit record and do real content. But
There you go. So you mentioned, you hinted at something there and talking about not everybody can go out and just post whatever they want. They've got some rules they need to follow, some guardrails. They have to be compliant. You
yeah,
shared a story about working with the Montrose Auto Group. Like, how did you coach them on staying within those guardrails? And what were the guardrails?
yeah. So, there are dealerships that if your content's going to even be borderline edgy, they don't want you doing it with a Montrose shirt on, right?
Right.
If you're going to use anything slang that sounds like a curse word or
Right. Like
something like,
kumquat or something. Who
yeah, well,
knows?
I
Right.
know,
Right.
that's not okay to say. What are you talking about? I say
It's a
that one all the
fruit.
time.
That's a
Just kidding.
fruit. Maybe.
Oh yeah, that one's approved. So yeah, I mean, here's what in a nutshell, because I don't want to, every store is different, certainly. Um, what I usually leave them with is before you hit that post button, if your dealer principal was standing next to you, would you post it? If you can't answer that authoritatively, yes, you need to stop, save it to your drafts, give it a minute, and maybe run it by somebody. But we've all got that instinct, right? Is this okay? You know what I mean? So I just tell them, when your thumb's right here, you know, if in this case, Mike Thompson Sr. was the owner there.
Yeah.
If Senior was here, would you post it? And if you don't know the answer is don't post it.
Right. Like if you have to ask, the answer is
It
no.
Yeah, correct, exactly.
Got it. How do you coach people on staying consistent, creating a schedule or creating a content calendar? Because that's the hardest part. What do I talk about every freaking day?
Yeah. So again, so I have a niece who's a creator. If she's a car salesperson and a creator down in Oklahoma, and she says, Unc, I can't find time to shoot this content. I can't find time to shoot this content. And so I'll give you exactly what I gave her. In the morning, when you get in your car, this is what I want you to do. Grab your phone and hit record and say, hey guys, I got two appointments today. One's got subprime credit, not sure how that's going to go. The other one's got some negative equity, but I think we got a good chance. I hope they both show up. Neither of them confirmed yet. Let you know what happens. There's one video, right? Sometime throughout the day, you have to go do something that we all know in the car business is kind of a pain, let's say. Um, go find keys, right, for a car that just got out of service and it's in between service and detail or whatever. Oh, it's me again. Well, Matt checked them out of the key box. It showed a picture of them checking out, and I can't find the keys. My guy's going to be here. Wish me luck. There's the second one. I think so far we've spent 15 seconds. And
Right.
then the third one can be just as simple as, oh, wow, getting in your car. Oh, all right, guys. Well, I did close that one deal. I didn't find the keys. Matt owes me lunch for the other car, but I did close the one deal. Overall, a great day. Put in the comments. Let me know what you think. Did I have a productive day? There's three videos, and it literally just took us less than a minute. So there is no excuse for not making content. You can't tell me that you can't turn that record button on and just talk for a couple minutes about what you're doing. Now, when you get into the skits, Matt, that is where it gets creatively challenging.
That's hard.
It's by nature, I'm not. Martin Scorsese. I'm not creatively, creating scenes.
There's a lot of bad acting out there too.
There's a lot of bad acting out there. There really is. But, sometimes that's the best content though, and here's what I tell people, and I leave them with this. If you're sitting there and you can't think of a content idea, that is a content idea. What I mean by
Yeah.
that is, guys, Goat's trying to get me to make a video. I have no idea what I should make right now. Seriously, I'm struggling to figure out a content idea. I'm not sure if this thing is for me, if I should even be doing TikTok. And then you say something like this, guys, do me a favor. Can you shoot me a few content ideas? I really am struggling. I got a creative block. Put in the comments what you think would be a good content idea. But what you just did there was you asked for engagement.
Yep. All right, we got three questions that just popped
Yeah,
in, so let's bang these out,
go. Let's
and
do it.
we'll probably wrap it up. So,
Yeah.
Eric says, joined a team, has been tasked with taking a dealership with over 50 years of history and effectively starting from scratch with their presence. He's grown established dealerships, but here they've got a little bit of negative community sentiment from rebranding. Any pointers?
Yeah. 100%. You have to, if you don't show that public who you are now, if you don't organically show them, the last thing that you need to be doing is making a video of, guys, we have new ownership in here. Those old guys, we have nothing to do with those. That is not what they want to hear. They do not want to hear that. So all you want to do is start recording yourself being a genuine, transparent car dealer, and that sentiment will just naturally dissolve. You know, it's the saturation of the content showing who you guys are that will erase that. You're a car salesperson in theory, right? Nothing you can say is going to convince anybody that what you're saying is true. The only thing that's going to resonate with them is if they see you doing it. So my advice would be just start shooting content. Just start shooting content of how you operate, and that will go away.
Got it. Next question from Miranda. A lot of her team is reluctant to participate in reels. So it sounds like
Yeah.
maybe she's shooting it and they don't want to get involved. Like, oh, here comes Miranda with the camera again. Recommendations on getting those people to participate.
Yeah, I don't know what Miranda's position is. If she's also a sales rep, there's an answer for that. If she's a manager, there's an answer for that. But here's the thing. If they're not willing participants, don't even ever ask them again. Because I can tell you one thing that I do tell my trainees when I leave, when I do a training, before you push the record button, not the post button, ask yourself, is it going to be genuine? If it's not genuine, it's not going to resonate, right? So if they don't want to make them, awesome. Don't make them, because the last thing that I want on my store page, hypothetically, if I'm an owner or manager even, is some guy that doesn't want to be on camera making a video,
You
because
can, yeah, you can feel it.
you see it, yeah,
Yeah.
we pick it, we pick it up. So
All right. Last question here.
yeah.
Recommendations for the number of posts. And does that number change from business to personal?
That's a good question. Number of posts, if you if so the magic number is three, right? Everybody says three pieces of good content a day. I'm going to tell you, in the car business, there are times when you're lucky to get one, right? My suggestion is I tell people two. I tell people it's two, because I know how you can easily do two. One is when you first get in the car in the morning, and one is when you get in the car after your day. I know you can do those, right? So if you can find time throughout the day to make a scripted one, or a behind the scenes one, that's awesome. But the minimum, I think, is two. It's my day, what's coming up in my day, and then a recap of my day. And that will resonate with people because they have the same recap in their head every day about their job. So it's really for two, for business. For personal, I think it's a minimum of one, really, because personal accounts, they resonate differently. They're going to attract different followers. And honestly, I never want to see a car salesperson not make a business or dealership type video so they can make a personal one. Because at the end of the day, we wake up to make money and sell more cars, right? So um, overall, if you could do three, I would do two dealership, one personal. That would be, I think, the sweet spot. But you got to be consistent.
Oh, I love it, Sean. So here
Yeah,
we go. We're going to land this plane here. Let's go this back. I'll fire up my old slideshow here. So
right on.
if you've made it this far or you're watching the rebroadcast of this or the replay of this, if you do not yet have your own trade pending mascot, that is our wobbly bird. There's even a story about that and why we have that. Hit up that URL. We will mail you one absolutely free, no charge, no nothing. You get a present in the mail, and who doesn't like that?
I don't have one. Go
We
ahead.
will send you one, Sean. So I'm glad we covered this. If you are looking for a community to get more tips and tricks on shooting video, not so much social media, but just videos to interact with customers, we've got a great community there, Dealership Video Academy. That is a Facebook community there. And here we are. Sean, there is your information right there. There is mine. If you guys are looking for some more tips, advice from Sean on how to do social media at your dealership, can they reach out to you?
100%. Yeah. GoForReal216 at Gmail or Sean at GoForReal216.com. That's the website, GoForReal216.com.
Thank you, Sean, for having us. And
Yeah, it's awesome.
it was a great show. Very much appreciate it. And we'll see everybody next time. Now I got to log out of this dang thing. Here we go.
Thanks.
All right. See you, everybody.
All right, buddy. Bye bye.